Hello, Internet. It's time for another Old School Wednesdays serial. I have thoughts on pretty much every book this week, so I thought I'd, do this the way we used to do it. You remember, right? Oh, quick interlude. I just wanted to put a call out. Later this month, I was hoping to do a V for Vendetta hangout kind of book club thing, so everybody that would be on would have obviously read and have thoughts about V for Vendetta, and we just kind of have a round table for it. I want to set up a time and whatnot, but I'm looking for people who are interested. So if that's you, let me know. So first up is Batman 35 of the infamous price point. I know that there's some debate over the price point, and you guys know how fickle I am with price. If this keeps being here, I'm dropping it. Also, this issue was... It had the worst reveal page at the end where we got a link back to El Jokero, and it could have been something so much smarter with the Justice League coming after him. And if they were revealing a plot that there was something that damned Bruce Wayne in such a way that the Justice League was coming to kill him, or it would have been smarter if they were coming to take him down, then he took them down, and then you get to something, because then you're like, what's happening? It would have been a mystery, and then it would have been something to solve, and it could have been really cool. But instead, we're left with something that reads like a bad fan fiction, frankly, so really not worth it. Batman Eternal is running along, and best Bat book on the shelves. We're getting to see the spoiler and the Bat and the Penny's plots all intermingle. Killer Croc is coming around. They're playing with Catwoman in a lot of ways. This issue really felt like, yeah, if you hadn't been reading it, you wouldn't get it. But here it just feels like, another installment, and it feels like this story that's so rich and involved, and all of Gotham is going on at the same time, and it just made it very, very engaging. So Batgirl 35 is out, and this was a really strong issue by all accounts. It's more or less a self-contained story with some threads that are going to continue forward clearly. This is a bold new take. This is appealing to the audience that they were marketing to and that you've all heard about. They even touched up the logo a bit, and everything's just so hip and trendy and whatever. It's really clear that this is a good book for a different audience. And so I'm dropping it. And it's not out of malice, it's not out of anything. It's not for me. It's nothing I really want to read. And I've been kind of looking to cut some books, so this one goes. And I don't really feel bad. Compared to the Simone run, it's something drastically different for a drastically different group. So I think it's cool, but I also feel like if they had been smarter and done this with spoiler and then kept Batgirl more in a certain vein, it could have worked a lot better and been kind of a branding thing. Especially because the idea of spoiler and making the whole internet trendy thing, I think, would have played smarter into the theme they're doing here. But if I was running these comic companies, they'd actually probably make some sales. So who cares, right? Future's End 23 was interesting in a way, kind of an inverse of Beternal this week, where it feels like an issue that was going along, and if you hadn't been reading it, you wouldn't understand. But this way, it just felt like there's a lot of loose threads building up to stuff, and nothing really came to fruition here. And there was a lot on Tim's girlfriend in this issue, which is an interesting subplot, but spending that long on it when we have some other dangling threads that feel a bit more pressing, and then introducing two new ones in this issue just made this feel like the pacing was drastically off. Maybe they're stalling to figure some stuff out. I don't know. But, and that's really down. I've been loving this book. It's one of the best things DC's been putting out. This just happens to be about the weakest issue of it so far. And it's still interesting. It just focuses in places where it doesn't feel as interesting right now. But the way they're weaving the story together and the way it has so many characters. This is how you're supposed to do diversity with superhero comics. There's female characters all over the place. There's all kinds of different ethnicity, whatever. You don't even think about it because they're all just characters. They're all just there. And it's such a rollicking adventure that having that many people and having that diversity of people really feels genuine. It doesn't feel forced. And they're not shoehorning this book like that, but it happens to have all that. And no one's going to call it out for being, you know, the tween girl book or the, oh, look at the black superhero, whatever. But it's all here. It's just not signposted, which actually makes it better for all that, ironically. Just a quick thought with a lot of the malice that keeps floating around towards that sort of thing. Spider-Man 007 is a fun Spider-Man issue. I mean, if you're not into Spider-Man right now, whatever, but this just felt like there was fun, and there's all these different things going on with Spider-Man right now, but we're in one place, then we're in another place, and we're dealing with all these subplots, and it just felt like a fun, energetic comic, which just feels kind of crazy right now. And as much as I haven't been dropping for every freaking sub-book that this one's putting out, the main book itself is fun, and you can follow, and it's just... It's ASM, especially on a week when I really needed some superhero junk food. This just felt right, and dang it may be just another Spider-Man comic, but right now that's so much better than a lot of the other stuff I'm looking at. Hey, I was all about it. Hawkeye versus Deadpool is really Hawkeye and Deadpool, and if you're a fan of either book, I feel like this one is worth picking up. It's just been... It's a fun ride. It plays off the 000 issue, so kind of have to pick that up, I think, to get the full breadth of this. But it's really genuine to both the characters, and it's playing with them in a fun way, and it takes these kind of two oddball characters of the Marvel Universe, and is just making this crazy Halloween adventure out of it. And, you know, since it's such a small-scale story, I think it's something that superhero comics kind of need a little dash of right now, because everything's trying to be so epic. Trying to deal with something more homegrown is really refreshing. Sabrina, they were doing a promotion for your comic shop. They put a little insignia in the window, I guess. I got this because it was $1 cheaper. So, if you're liking Afterlife with Archie, this is probably definitely worth a read to try. And this is similar to me to Batgirl in a way, because this is playing with that 1960s Americana, but it's this dark twist on it, but it's all in high school, and jinkies, I want the guys to like me, and, you know, coming of age, and it's really beautifully done, but it just feels like this is for someone else. And as amazing as it is, it's not Afterlife with Archie. It is a book that has its own breadth and feel. And if you're looking for more in that vein and playing on the old horror, and, you know, especially with the coming of age with the horror things going on, this book is excellent. I have a flinch test with high school, and it failed. Then, continuing with the ups and downs, Atomic Robo 405, Knights of the Golden Circle. And I'll be honest, I've been picking this up, and I basically forgot every other issue. This book used to be something really unique and really creative, and kind of bringing a webcomic energy to the printed comic, you know, more or less monthly arena, and doing something under a publisher that deserves some accolades for trying some stuff that's really cool and different. But they also write on this title, and the main creator of this title has stretched himself a bit thin. There's like role-playing books, web, like comicsology, web-only comics, and then the main book, and the creative energy that goes into the main book anymore is a small fraction of what it once was. None of the wit, none of the charm was here that brought me to the book, and I'm gonna let this mini ride out, but I have a feeling I might be letting go of Atomic Robo, which kinda sucks to see a book that was doing so much and was such a kind of great sliver on the shelf for me might be going away, because it's not what it was, and it's kind of becoming the worst of what a lot of people would assume of a comic like that. And so it's a little disheartening.